They have won 4 of their last 5. Are the Warriors starting to give more indications that they are, in fact, a playoff team even without Klay?
Yeah, well, look, this is what the addition of Draymond has done for them.
Yes.
Yeah, another playmaker, a defensive player of the year. But ultimately, they need to make the playoffs because at the end of the day, Klay Thompson does not take them from a non-playoff team to a contender.
Right.
He should take them from a playoff team to a contender.
Yeah, I see the biggest difference is Draymond. His leadership on the court, the numbers aren't really showing it, but just his presence and what he does and what he says on the bench, on the court has made a huge difference.
Yeah. If you're looking at scoring numbers to evaluate his worth, you're looking in the wrong place. He's been night and day so valuable for that team in the past couple games, much less the past years. All right, Giannis dropping 30 points in the first half last night, finishing with 43 in the Bucks' 10-point win over the Pistons. Paul, does Giannis need to take more of the Bucks' scoring load for them to reach their expectations, or is it just regular season?
For them to meet their expectations, they need to play Detroit every night. I mean, come on, look at this defense. There's no wall.
Come on, Plum.
He's just laying the ball up. He's dunking the ball. I mean, have they not seen the blueprint on how to guard him? I mean, come on. I mean, Giannis is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, look how easy it looks for him.
Detroit,
he
bottom of the
doesn't need to
East.
do anything.
Blake Griffin having a tough go again.
Oh, that's not Blake, though. We forgot about him as a body catcher.
Yeah.
Blake.
I'm not even sure Blake played. Did Blake even play this game? Nah.
I'm not saying anything.
Don't look now. New York Knicks are 4-3.
Let's go.
They've won 4 of their last 5 games after beating the Hawks last night in Atlanta. Do you think Tibbs is going to have the Knicks being a playoff team this year, Richard?
I think they'll have a chance for the play-in spot. But when you look at the numbers of the Knicks and you're like, okay, how can they sustain this? Well, just go straight to the numbers. Can Alec Burke continue to average 20 a game? Can R.J. Barrett average 18? Yes. But can Randall average 23, 13, and 7? I don't know if he can maintain that.
When I look at the Knicks, they remind me of an Allstate commercial. You know how it starts off good, and then it just ends up tragic. And I'm not wishing that upon the Knicks, but, it's early in the season. They're 4-3, haven't been 4-3 in over 25 years. I just feel like all the years of watching the Knicks, I'm not so.
You're gun shy.
I'm not putting money on it.
Well, Tibbs has them playing better defense. He's getting more out of his guys and also not shacking.
Trong giấc mơ chỉ toàn người khóc, người vui, người điên. Trên áng mây cao là hoàng hôn, thổn thức tim tôi. Những ngày qua tôi ngồi lặng thinh, cùng mấy cuốn sách dở dang chưa đọc hết. Những ký ức tôi ngỡ đã qua, mà đứng giữa đám đông.
They lead the league in minutes, number 1 and number 2, right?
Let's go.
Guys, so
if you want to play, Tibbs is your man.
There you go. Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, 1 and 2. All right, Knicks-Hawks game last night. Very good. Thinking about how they had to walk uphill both ways to school, and there's no good body-catching, snatching dunkers in the league anymore. Do you have a current pick for them? Anything?
Give us a top three. Because
these old heads, we're talking about all these guys who can't do it. And John Morant nearly killed Richard Jefferson's old teammate Kevin Love last year with a dunk. Where's the love for Ja? Ja's my guy.
Oh, man. Who are the top dunkers? Like, there's no more
He's
Richards,
6 inches shorter than him and nearly
Tracy's,
jumped over him and dunked it.
Vince's,
Kobe.
Back in my day.
The dunk
It's
contest.
real. This is not.
Richard Jefferson, Paul Pierce. Let's talk about some of the struggles that league employees are dealing with off the court. Now, before the break, we recommended a story from our friend Baxter Holmes on how team health officials say they're struggling to find balance in managing their jobs amid the current COVID-19 protocols. Compliance with league policy has fallen largely on athletic trainers, who, of course, also responsible for helping players maintain their bodies for optimal performance. One anonymous, look at these quotes. One anonymous Western Conference head athletic trainer told Baxter, quote, "We're responsible for the logistics of all the staff, PCR testing, and all of the player rapid testing and the compliance with the timelines that go into that every day, whether it's an off day, game day. So the workload has increased dramatically, and there's not been a decrease in any of the other workload." Richard, I thought you guys could give good insight, right, between the relationship between players and trainers and this relationship changing with coronavirus protocols and sort of the burden on these guys. And the dynamic is always
Why
a
are
little
you?
weird.
You're setting it up. All you have to do is say this. It's different than what it was a long time ago. That's not the point. The point is like that anonymous GM or the anonymous trainer sounded like we have a lot more work to do. That's really what it comes down to, because when we first came into the league, and this is not a get off our lawn. It's
the whole show. This
you
whole
had
show
two.
is get off
You
my
had
lawn.
two trainers, and one of the trainers was an equipment manager, and that's also why they would crack jokes about if you're a young player, don't even think about getting on the table.
Right.
You need room for veterans, right? But now it's to a point where you have 3 trainers. You have what is it called? A sports science team. You have a sleep doctor. You have 3 nutritionists. You have 4 weight coaches. You have
bụi hoa giấy hiên nhà lắng nghe tiếng mưa
a staff of like 15 people that used to do a job of 3. So don't tell me that these protocols and this more work. Yes, it is more work, but there's a lot of people there that are helping to put their hands on these athletes.
In other words, they're asking for a raise.
Yeah, basically. That's basically it. We got a lot more work to do.
We got a lot more work. I need more pay.
I do think it's a lot, and the protocols do keep changing. They just issued something about masks, right? And when guys are on the bench versus when they come out for halftime versus all of that. It is a lot to keep track of. And then the protocols, too, about how many people can be in a room with a guy when he is on the training table have changed. So I do think, you are being unnecessarily harsh.
Go 10 years ago.
Yes.
And look, and if we were to do a number, each team that had a quote-unquote training medical staff, and we can include the weight team, like the weight staff. Yeah. So you would have a weight coach and an assistant weight coach. No one had personal trainers. So then you would have so literally it's a total of 6. Now that number has ballooned to between 10 and 15. So between 10 and 15 versus 6, 10, 15 years ago, don't tell me that you can't still get hands on bodies of players. Basically what he's saying is can they just, the NBA hire one protocol person to handle that so we can focus on the players? That's what I'm hearing.
Said it best.
I mean, the teams could hire that if they wanted to.
They could, but they're we're paying 15 people already on this staff.
Yeah, but the value of the franchise went up to $2-3 billion.
Right, yeah, exactly. So there you go. I do know in the bubble there were a couple guys who just forgot to get tested, as you may remember. I'm not pointing any fingers at you, Richard Jefferson, but in teams they would say, well, the athletic trainer was supposed to chase him down. It's just a lot for these guys to do.
It is a lot, and they've never had to do this before.
And you got to understand, they're putting themselves at more risk of catching also. Mm-hmm. And so when you have 1 or 2 people, I think teams should do this. You have 15 players on a team. You should assign 3 players to 1 trainer. Mm-hmm. So if that means hiring 5 trainers now,
they got 5 trainers.
They have 5 trainers, and it'll lessen the load on a lot of these guys because there's still some teams at the bottom that got 1 or 2 trainers.
Well, also I think part of this is there's more sensitivity because of a short offseason for some teams or a very long offseason for other teams, and you have more soft tissue injury concerns. Another line that stood out in the piece was them talking about how an overload of healthcare providers, meaning that, notable injuries we've already seen this season, right? Do you think that if trainers are stretched thinner?
Đông vẫn thấy mình cô đơn. Con đường về đã đi cả ngàn lần. Trở nên lạ lắm, không sao quen thuộc. Ô kìa, bóng đèn đường vẫn lững lơ. Chờ tôi. Bụi hoa giấy hiên nhà lắng nghe tiếng mưa ru dịu dàng, mùa hè sắp quay về với tôi.
We will see more injuries, or there's no correlation, it's just timing and injuries.
Yeah, there's no correlation. But I will tell you this about the players now. They're more needy also. I mean, like this is.
Wow.
No, seriously, because I remember my last day.
Yeah, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with COVID protocols.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the trainer not stretching them or nothing. I mean, you're gonna get an injury some way, somehow, because you're an athlete. But the players will come. I remember players coming until and get with the trainer if they had a bad toenail or something. Or like seriously, like everybody was on the table before. Everybody would come in and get up shots, lift weights. Now,
disposal. So for a trainer to come and say, "Well, we can't get hands on the players," it's like, wait, what are you talking about here?
This is why I want.
This is why he was anonymous, ladies and gentlemen. This is why he was anonymous, because he's just like, wait, we only have 3 massage therapists, we have 6 trainers, and we have 3 wait staff, but we have an overload.
There you go. This is the word from these two guys. I can't see them from their lawn. I'm so far off it, but that's for later. Coming up in this show, after back-to-back wins, a couple of hot shooting nights from Steph Curry, are the Warriors back to being the Warriors again? We will discuss. We got a former Warrior on this set. First, though, it's time for our second distant replay of this day, this date, 83, Dr. J.
Oh, cool. Come on, cool.
Hey, cool.
People can still do that, though. I don't know if I could ever.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Sensational play.
Brock.
Coop was up so high he had to duck from the backboard. And what